Welcome everyone here to Dust 2, the finals of the MLG Minor Americas between OpTic Gaming and a Tempo Storm. Still ringing in my ears after that desk celebration, as map 3 will be Nuke. The first time a real match of Nuke will be covered.
You know, we had that insider info, but we were still super
we knew
excited
ahead of
for
time.
that.
The desk didn't know ahead of time. That was a natural reaction. But
yeah, that made it all the more exciting just waiting for that third map to pop up.
So we do have Dust 2, map number 1 here, and it was the pick of Tempo Storm. So what does that mean? We just saw Tempo Storm play Dust 2, and it was pretty easy for them to advance over TSM. So moving forward, what does that mean for OpTic?
OpTic on Dust 2 are going to have a little bit of trouble here. I think this is finally a series where we won't see the map picks get traded. I think there is a very high chance, just as Garrett said, of there being Nuke, and I think it's really a really great map for Tempo Storm. We saw them pick it quite often and play it at Gfinity and play so well on it. And then OpTic also have had stellar performances on Train. What they were sporting the 16-1 over TSM, right? Or Selfless, excuse me.
So
in this tournament.
Yeah, well, into the pistol round already, but let's see if Mixwell aggressive onto the catwalk, playing behind the smoke, and that's OpTic Gaming on the CT side. Tempo Storm moving forward, bolts to get the first kill, and Mixwell, he's still holding out of the smoke. He's going to make the patient play here. He grabs 1 and 2 frags, makes it a third, actually, getting the reloaded even. He's just going to work, finding 3 out there in middle, and giving OpTic Gaming the advantage here on round number 1. It's just Showtime and Henny left alive.
Nice frag from Rush. That seals it up pretty much. Bomb down Xbox, but wow, what a play from Mixwell. You almost never see someone use the Xbox smoke in that way as a CT, so it was really nice to see him try to get up on the ledge and spot over into lower. That was kind of interesting. I wonder if he would have been able to see someone if they were throwing that smoke as a distraction. Now Showtime, who has been super clutch, starting to move up catwalk by himself. The one thing he has going for him is this USP. That means he can end lives in just an instant. First shot comes out.
Yeah, he won't hit it though, so he starts advancing forward onto the site. Naf now just buying time for the rotations of his teammates, and we see it so often. Oh, they actually are not going to go jumping up elevator for this, so Showtime getting the bomb down in a 1v3, actually pretty massive, but it is OpTic Gaming that will take round number 1.
Yeah, they have to be careful not to be, you know, very like too respectful, I think, of Tempo Storm. I feel like if Tempo Storm in that situation, they would have almost certainly jumped to try to stop the plant, and that's because they're playing with a lot more confidence. I mean, it is 3v1, and if Naf gets shot out of the sky, it's not a great way to lose a player, but there's Mixwell to start off the disgusting 3K, 3 free headshots for him.
Never expect the Spanish.
Yeah.
As there you go, off of the catwalk, nice play there. And we've got submachine guns, and actually just the 1 rifle onto Rush. He'll go for the FAMAS. Tempo Storm, meanwhile, having planted the bomb, very light buy, some pistols and some flashes. Mixwell aggressive one more time on the catwalk, looking to make that money. He finds 2 kills, but on the fallback, Lucas does take him down.
He's kind of done his job right here. He didn't want to die, but he got a couple of kills, got the info on Cat, has left Henny with just 11 HP. And this is something we talked about with OpTic Gaming yesterday, where I was wondering at Gone Cobble on their CT side, they actually decided not to buy any rifles. And Rush has picked up a FAMAS, but he was the one who said SMGs are just overpowered, man. You don't need any rifles. And there's a lot of good things about that, right? That means that 100% of the time, if you win the round, all the kills that come from it go right into the best win bonus that you could possibly ask for. I mean, apart from shotguns. And then you have the ability to drop a gun that isn't that useful for your opponents, especially if they don't have armor or you know, if they're low on health or something like that. And so you don't have any. They don't serve as liabilities for your team as CTs.
Yeah, well, you can see Mixwell got a lot of kills in those first 2 rounds. He's out to the op very early on. The 1 rifle still on Rush, and as you mentioned, a lot of submachine guns being preserved into round number 3, where Tempo Storm really are just going to have to hit their shots. They have a couple nades onto bolts. He went for the Galil. Everyone else just going to work their way in. And it's Phelps going up on top of the box. He'll bring down Rush off of the site. Mixwell connecting with an op shot over on the catwalk. Phelps trying to deal with that, and he does. Nice little spray down onto Mixwell. Lucas finds daps. And now it is up to Stan and Naf. Now just Naf as bolts there, moving in with the Galil and taking them both down.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's actually not that big of a deal that OpTic lost that round. They did lose an op in the hands of Mixwell, and that's kind of important, but they're dropping it. It seems like Nafly has the opportunity. No, he's passing it back, and They actually managed to afford
How?
2 ops on top of a UMP and just a 5.7 in the hands of daps. So I think that counterbalances the lack of regular rifles that they have, considering they only have 1 FAMAS.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting decision. You can see it's really taken a toll on OpTic Gaming's utility. Only Rush and Mixwell with a smoke and some other flashes, and there's Mixwell. First kill of the round onto Phelps. That's gotta feel good.
Certainly Tempo Storm knew that OpTic Gaming were going to buy after that last round because they took down a bunch of players who only had SMGs. We don't see the rebuys come out after you win the round. It's obvious that they're trying to play, they're trying to hedge their bets and rely on being able to do damage and then win the following round.
I think a case could be made that they maybe wouldn't expect an op since Mixwell did have one in the round previous that they lost, as opposed to preserving a scout through it. But things working out nicely here for OpTic Gaming. 3 members of Tempo Storm left. Showtime once again trying to make his entrance into this A site. It has actually been somewhat given up by OpTic Gaming. Rush playing down in the elevator. 2 more looking to retake from the catwalk, and there's that CT weapons. Bomb, though, it goes down. Rush killing Showtime immediately after, and it's Henny on the ramp. Lucas is backed off to his post-plant position at long. Well, actually, is daps flanking? No, daps is coming up the catwalk, so it's Henny keeping everyone at bay, just trying to stay alive, play the clock at this point. Won't come away with the first kill. It's Rush finding his second instead, and now Lucas. Bomb planted for him, but this is a lot of targets to shoot at right now, and it's Mixwell with the op.
Can't find a single one. The bomb does get planted. That was really close. The jump up wasn't fast enough to stop it from going down, but Tempo Storm lose and don't manage to kill anybody. And OpTic Gaming being able to save these 2 ops and then also drop some of their SMGs, pick up a rifle in the hands of daps, who originally had a 5.7. It's a really, really big round for them. They move into the next round with the plant and maybe the option to buy. I think it would be kind of interesting to see that. For some reason, some players not spending money. Henny the Opper still has 2.6, but a couple of rifles, and not everyone has half armor either.
Yeah, and Showtime bought a lot. And here's Rush. Oh, he's going to go down first, actually, trying to get aggressive at long, and it's Bolts stealing away that portion of the map from OpTic Gaming, who are now left a man down. 2 people on A. It looks like a player. Yeah, that's Mixwell about to take the elevator up into the site, post up with the op, and try to control long. He will have an advantage over all of the weapons at that range, so Phelps is making his way closer. Spots a shadow as it's coming through the smoke, and that's Mixwell having gone down. Phelps now picking up the op. Naf with one in his hands as well here on the site. Both shots going to ring out and miss. And now Stanislaw making the big play, push it through with the UMP, bringing down 2, and now Henny left with another clutch. 1 versus 2. It's Naf in the site again with that op. Henny with a lot of time, but it's Naf to hit the shot and deny Tempo Storm around. It's OpTic Gaming up to 4 now.
I gotta say, I love how confident OpTic Gaming are playing this. You're gonna see a huge bias come out of me in this map in the next one as well. Even though I want to go to 3, I want the best for the stream. But this is a Canadian lineup, and it makes me so happy to see that they aren't playing scared versus Tempo, who run off of confidence. You know, there are many plays that both teams make that might seem overconfident or simply reckless, but like, for example, that buy. You know, you might, if TSM made that buy that Tempo did, I'm sure it would have been criticized. But the fact that Tempo did it kind of frees them from that. And it was really weird. But they did come close to winning. And it was off the back of a couple of entries from Bolts. Neutralized, of course, by the Oppers, Mixwell and Nafly.
We've got OpTic Gaming and the Toronto Raptors making Canadians everywhere
Yeah.
very, very proud. As Tempo Storm putting a little bit into this round just to stay dangerous, maybe keep it expensive, but you can see OpTic Gaming have a nice read on the economy. All the MP9s coming out, just looking to once again farm up that money. And Tempo Storm have gone for catwalk. Everybody is here. Phelps is jumping off. It's going to try to make it a 2-pronged attack, but Russian CT is shutting that down completely. Mixwell in sight actually will fall. And a nade, that was a team nade, it looked like, bouncing off, hitting Rush down to 62. But it really should be no problem going forward for OpTic Gaming. Showtime's got an MP9 in his hand. He'll jump out. daps immediately takes him. Henny going to grab one more. Nice P250 headshot over the ledge, but then daps putting it all to an end here. OpTic Gaming, they grab their 5th round.
Actually so impressed by the way our OpTic are managing their economy at the moment. We had 3 SMGs on that round.
It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's very nice to see. But you know what? It's also, even among top teams, they don't make decisions like this that often. Well, like 3 MP9s, 6 rounds into a half on a full buy after you won is like, you know, they know that Tempo Storm are obviously saving, but to be cognizant of it and make that decision is something that we don't see all the time. You're always maybe afraid of seeing like a random force up, and you might get in your own heads about it, especially on a stage like this in a grand final, but they made that decision and it made a lot of sense.
But you can see because of that decision, daps actually keeps an MP9 again into a full-on rifle round. So having bot 3, you may feel pressure not to upgrade all 3 of them.
Did that smoke actually land on Cat instead of in Xbox?
I will discover this information for you, and
It did.
yeah, it's actually on Cat, but it does serve the same purpose.
Yeah, you just can't
maybe
peek,
an
you can't
angle.
peek as wide around the corner.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't cover that well if someone's playing an NOA spot, and there's the firefight happening on the catwalk. Daps to grab 1, Phelps, he kills Mixwell, and we've got ourselves a 4-on-4, but it's actually Daps with the MP9 who grabs a kill.
Oh my gosh, he wants to recover the op here. The MP9 with his teammate down there means that not only can he not recover, but if the T's can get it.
Oh my gosh, look at that camera angle.
All right, this is a really precarious spot. I mean, he has to come away with a kill right here. Oh, the flash,
They're so
perfect.
blind, but there's 2 others there who are not. So an effective flash, but Daps, he just runs into rush hour traffic pretty much. If Rush got the kill, that would have actually been perfect. But here he is, sitting behind the smoke. Only going to grab the 1. Henny connecting through the smoke there, finding the shot onto Rush. Now Naf out at middle. Actually rolling around, rotating with his P250 out instead of that op, expecting some opposition on the way. Not having found it yet. Henny hoping for a peek, but Stanislav playing so patient.
Wow, look at this. They got the walkout on mid. Henny's not even making that much presence on Cat, but has so much vision. And it looks like the mid-B split is going to be quite effective. Though the op shot from Nafly, really great adjustment after peeking into the wrong angle. Leads Henny to run through tunnels with the bomb. This will allow them to plant. 10 seconds remain.
They are going to be able to cross. That's a hard shot to hit. So bomb going down in default, and let's look at the post plants. We've got Bolts in the tunnels. He'll actually be pressured first. Stanislav's making his way up from lower B. Nap still hanging out in CT middle. Very important battle for Stan.
Stan knows what's up. They went through tunnels, so they're almost always going to leave somebody here. And doesn't actually clear his close right. Was too afraid of the late tunnels peak. Nafly now 1v2. Tough spot to be in. Does get the first kill. The op trade does not come out. Henny's just trying to buy time and play the 1v1 for himself.
But you can see Naf checking everything. He has no idea where Henny is, and Henny's going to miss the shot. OpTic Gaming, he has the kit.
He has the kit. He has the round.
Hasn't got there in time. It seems like he will have it, and that's going to be OpTic Gaming off of a very intense 2v2 clutch scenario, going 6-1 over Tempo Storm.
I wonder if Henny is all out of adrenaline. That's a rare miss from him in that
Seriously.
1v1. I knew exactly what angle he was going to come up against, too. I mean, credit to Nafly for winning the 1v2, but that's got to be one of the hardest ones to win. Especially after he came in window, it makes me even wonder. I guess that Bolts wasn't able to stay alive longer in tunnels, but if he could have delayed any more than this.
We see here Naf actually starts shooting. Maybe he thought it was just a continuation of the spray into Bolts, but I think Henny hearing that AK maybe could have peeked out and just caught him while his
well, that's how you 100% the round, right? Ooh.
Exactly. But okay, here's Henny starting things off. He'll bring down Mixwell, and we'll see Naf. I mean, Mixwell's op has been getting talked about a lot, but we've seen Naf hit some pretty nice shots so far in this tournament. Phelps going to work his way up. Cat a little bit slower now because OpTic Gaming have thrown down some fire, and that's going to allow Daps to actually move up to a corner. I'm expecting a flash here from one of his teammates. We saw him try to do this with the MP9, but it's not coming. He's there alone, but he spotted the shadow, so he wins out that battle over Phelps, no problem. Location known.
What?
He gets showtime as well. Who's that, Wanders?
Who's that? That's Daps.
That's Daps. OpTic Gaming 4-on-3 here into round 8. But the bomb is going to be planted here by Lucas. Let's see where he goes. We do have one player, Bolts, in Goose or not. Daps taking him down. Daps with a triple on the round.
What's DJ Khaled's favorite number, Helium?
Oh, I think that would be 11. You want to tell the viewers why?
Another one.
Exactly. Not sure what the idea there from Rush was, but he'll pay the price with his life here on round 8 as Lucas jumping up and down as well. Hitting some shots. Daps going to take down. Daps is actually on for the ace, and he probably when he does, Daps just grabs an ace.
What? It's sick, too. It's not just an ace. It's sick. What a...
Clean those hands.
Dust them shoulders off, Daps. What a huge round. Those 2 opening frags, I was surprised enough to see. I mean, being a multi-kill fragger is just a skill in itself, and he's not the one you expect to do that. And he's up on Cat alone all the time. That's a really tough spot to be in, and he just, wow, came through with flying colors. They're 7-1 now versus Tempo Storm on their map pick.
This is madness. It's probably because you said it, that the team should win their map picks here. But OpTic Gaming on this CT side of Dust 2 playing so well right now. And there's Mixwell actually going to miss a shot. He'll flash out. Will he peek behind it? Nope. Looks like he's setting up a smoke onto the catwalk. Phelps has covered a lot of ground. Rush grabbed one frag. Somehow he's able to get behind the cover. Those sight boxes. Rush, he goes down to Bolts, and now Phelps looking to peer into CT spawn. Nice spray. He'll bring down Mixwell with that one. And it's Tempo Storm with the man advantage. That nade nearly taking out 2, but Phelps still getting it done. He finds a triple, and it's Nafly here in middle. Chimes in with the kill onto Phelps, but left 1 versus 3. Tempo Storm will finally get themselves a second round.
Looking absolutely livid on that take, getting all those kills so quickly. And Phelps clearly pissed off. Yeah, after he won that last map, he seemed, he had like the happy thing going on. Barely, just a stillness to him, looking almost stoic, even though they had such a crazy comeback victory. But looking very aggressive in those 3 kills.
Well, flash so that Naf can actually peek out as he tries to hold on to the op. Those players actually both went into middle. He's got this one player to contend with. That's going to be Henny inside of B, and Naf, he will dip, duck, dive, and dodge his way into round 10.
Dodge a wrench, dodge a ball. Oh, wow, money's actually very low. Now OpTic, again, winning that with the 2 players alive, including daps, who got the ace. Got most of those kills with the op, barely made bank off of it. I mean, you can actually see how much that takes away. Like 5 kills with a rifle, 1,500, right? With the op, however, just 5.
Taps. So blind, just shooting every bullet there, but Phelps finding the opening kill of the round as OpTic Gaming, the economy. The rounds were pretty close, right? So their money falls apart very, very fast, and it's going to fall onto Naf here to try to cause some damage back over to Tempo Storm. He will get a nice shot onto Lucas, who's looking the wrong way. Showtime grabs Mixwell. We've got ourselves a 3-on-3. Bomb still poised at long for Tempo Storm, and all of OpTic Gaming defending A at the moment.
Something you don't see very often with NA teams versus Tempo Storm, like getting the man advantage and then playing it to a victory, but also winning the 2vx's and 3vx's. These are the situations that many pros regard as the difference between lower teams and top tier teams. Communication in these moments are very important. CT is spreading thin rail. Oh, Naf not dodging that bullet as the smoke is bad, but Henny uses it to his advantage once again. Gets another kill on Stanislaw in middle.
Surprised Naf unscoped because he was turning from a flash scoped, turns back to the angle, and then decides to unscope and reposition. Henny, meanwhile, gets 2 frags, and it's Rush trying to hold on to an AK, which is pretty meaningful. Money will recover a little bit, but it's still not going to be great going into round 11.
Mm-hmm. Hugely important for Tempo Storm that they were able to win that round, considering how lopsided the scoreline is already, 7-2. The quota for the CT side of OpTic Gaming, I wonder what it is for them mentally. On this map, it's up in the air. It really depends on what your team is used to winning.
Well, I think at this point, when you've had such a strong start, it's less about hitting a number, hitting a target, but maintaining some momentum.
Yeah, and not blowing the lead,
because if this turns
right?
around to Tempo Storm going 8-7, then suddenly it doesn't really matter, and everything's going to shift going into the second half in favor of Tempo.
Definitely. Definitely. It's about not blowing a lead. You don't want to lose 5 out of 6 of the last rounds after you had such a great start. That's not a good sign. Ooh. Wow, that was actually a beautiful pick. Completely behind the smoke was Naf.
I love those up and down flick shots with the op.
Yeah. Oh, so gratifying.
Bolts here in the longhouse. We have a smoke that's gone down quite early from OpTic Gaming. Try to stop Tempo Storm from flying out of long. Phelps looking over middle. Phelps with an op. Henny with an op. And I think OpTic Gaming have maybe already got that information as daps. Regretting having jumped there, I think.
Yeah, actually not a situation where you want to jump, right? Because the smoke is your cover, and the only thing that can blow that is you changing your height. So being elevated in that moment cost him the death.
And I like this. Phelps, he's opping, right? But he wants to go clear these corners with the Tech 9 because that's the better suited weapon, and he will get the kill onto Mixwell as they fight pistols with pistols. Remember, Rush, however, does have that 1 AK. He's over on the wrong side of things. He's at long, and he maybe just saves it again. But Bolts is going to try to deny that. Stan popping out. Bolts will bring him down. Rush in the vicinity, but not there to trade. 40 seconds left. This Tempo Storm haven't even planted the bomb yet. It's making its way into B.
What's truly surprised me is just how well daps has been playing throughout the tournament. Like
It's
all
been
these
good.
4 days, you can expect kind of a player to have a good 1 or 2 days if they're not expected to do well, but to be consistently on point for 4 days in a row, it's quite impressive. I mean, he's definitely had a bad map or two, but in very important matches versus very good teams, he has showed up.
Yeah, he's sitting at for the tournament, not including the rounds we've seen on Dust 2, at 72 ADR and plus 19, which is pretty good.
Doing
Considering
his
his role on the team,
Mm-hmm.
which was talked about, booking flights, doing the reviews, calling the strats, doing
Oh.
everything, getting decent grades on the ADR list. But Phelps with the Tech 9, who needs an op? Not Phelps. Daps, though, will remove him, but then goes down almost immediately. Showtime chases him into the pit. We've got Stan and Naf. OpTic Gaming now maybe starting to deflate a little bit as they lose some momentum.
Yeah, Phelps is just leading the way, you know, like a shark through water, and everybody are just his ripples. His teammates follow him as he gets the entries.
Should write poetry, Launders.
Shout out to Stitch. Just cuz.
Because we got microphones, and we can shout out whoever we want right now.
That's right.
So bomb's been planted, and Stan and Naf, of course, just going to try to hide out. Money is very, very bad, but they will have that 4-round loss bonus coming in. Unfortunately, on the CT side, it's not really good enough.
No, it's not. Man, the 2 Tech 9 entries, it was a 3-long setup from OpTic Gaming, so they're fully prepared for something like a long hit. Typically, if teams take long and you have 3 CTs there, you have a good opportunity to win. Doesn't necessarily mean you come away with the trades. It does come down to aim at a certain point, but you have a lot of options as a CT because the terrorist can come out long and then cross the blue bin, but in response, you could throw a late flash from the corner and then have 2 people double peek. Because of that, you have the smoke from the terrorist to land at the corner of the wall, and this isolated everybody. But Phelps getting the second frag, for example, is something that you can't plan for.
And you can see the FAMAS, the nades. Daps is actually... Okay, he will go in for a CZ now. I was wondering about that. So it is a buy coming out for OpTic Gaming, but it's not a great one. Phelps missing a shot at long, now falling back over here to mid.
If Tempo Storm win this match, we're going to look back at the rounds that Phelps bailed them out. Phelps bailed them out on the T side.
Naf sitting pretty in the back of B. Just one player there maintaining some control for Tempo Storm. That's Showtime watching the B push. Lucas way back with the bomb watching the long push. And then, of course, it's Dust 2. Where are the other guys? They're controlling middle.
Yeah, quite common. Minute 10, we've got cat control on the docket for Tempo Storm. They're going to move up. We don't have OpTic Gaming playing here solo, which even though daps did this and was able to get that many kills, I really didn't like watching it. It seemed like quite a risk to have just one person there. It's pretty much a nade dump. See this Molotov? That's just where everybody throws all their grenades and things like that when there's a player in CT and he listens to terrorists taking cat control because it's so common to do.
So over a minute has ticked away here on round 13. Tempo Storm haven't been able to find out very much. As, all right, there they go. That's the first kill. Showtime takes Nafly off the back of the B plat. Dap starting to get aggressive. 5 bullets left in the CZ. Can he find a second kill? He's going to pull out the op. Finds... No, it does not find the no-scope. It's Mixwell with the FAMAS. Now Rush, his FAMAS boosted up, and Lucas was so ready for that. Takes down Rush instantly. And Stan, he's quick on the flank through the tunnels. I think actually coming through T-spawn. And Mixwell out the double door, so they are poised for a 2-pronged attack, but it's not going to work out. Showtime and Phelps getting it done.
Now that's a round that just comes down to kills, straight up and down. There was a player in tunnels who was able to kill Nafly for free as the technically solo man on the site. I mean, we had daps move out to mid B, but he was there to support, but ultimately had to watch 2 or actually 3 different choke points if he didn't push out without daps or without Naf's help. So not sure how he died, but that was really important. That's like 1 kill that you can just enter a site with.
So OpTic Gaming put onto just pistols this round. Do you think maybe would have been a good opportunity to take a pause going into this round, or don't want to waste it in the first half at this point?
Talking about OpTic?
Or maybe should OpTic have taken a pause earlier on once they started losing some steam?
I actually don't think so, just because the way that Tempo Storm were winning rounds, they weren't doing anything particularly special that was dismantling OpTic Gaming's takes. They were like, it was like Phelps to get, I think, 2 very important double entry rounds, you know, and off of his like extreme aggression. So the most that comes down to in terms of team discussion is don't like watch out for them to treat us with no respect. You know, that's what it was working for OpTic Gaming in the earlier rounds of the half for them. So they should half expect it.
Well, this round has actually started off pretty nice for OpTic Gaming, considering the ops and the auto snipers have come out there and no damage actually through those middle doors.
Yeah, everyone crosses nice and healthy.
Listening to Henny continue to fire. As he's actually taking the auto sniper into this round perhaps, but Phelps, he's going to bring down Naf. Stan playing close and around the smoke. Does get a little bit of damage on Phelps, but no way he could have known.
I gotta wonder how much of a read that was. Henny just opping down the lane of a tunnel, and Nafly just wide peeking it dry. And he died last round too, so that makes me question how he was playing the site originally.
Rush taking some damage, and at the European Miner, we saw Oscar land a couple shots through that door with his op. The players hiding on the right side. It's like Henny expecting it as well. He's brought Rush down to 39.
Nothing short of terrifying to hear that auto sniper. And another op kill. This time given to Phelps off of Cat by Mixwell.
Yeah, having gone down to men, actually 2, so they're having to get aggressive. daps moves out, does find 1 kill, looks good for a moment, but then there's Henny ready with the auto sniper. Phelps is going to die. Stan out in middle, well done. Tempo Storm still man advantage, and Showtime works his way into B, catching Stan as he tries to transition back to the site. And that leaves Rush pretty low on HP and on the wrong side of the map.
And that right there is the value of having a default and then being able to win it through your default, is if the kills come to you, like we saw the peek from Nafly, a wide peek out of tunnels, okay, kill in B site. But since we're in our default, we have a lot of options still, right? We have mid control, we have a player watching long, and then Mixwell has the idea to try to push off of Cat to even up numbers, right? Very common to do. But because you're spread out and you're not ready to just 5-man something, everything's being watched, they're given another free kill. And then they enter the site off of it, and now Rush is in a spot where he has 39 HP, 1v3, and can't do it. Actually, it's Tempo Storm to, after being down 3-7, are now up 8-7.
Yeah, that is... We mentioned on, I think, round 10 or maybe round 11 that it's very important for OpTic Gaming to not completely give up their momentum. And what have they done? They've completely giving up that momentum. It was round 3, a one-off rifle win from Tempo Storm early on in the half. 5 in a row from OpTic Gaming, followed by 7 in a row by Tempo Storm on the T side.
Yeah, if we have 4 first kills for Phelps.
Yeah.
Enormous stat considering all those rounds were converted
Some
for
of them
Tempo
were
Storm.
Double first kills.
Yeah, we had the double Tech
entries.
9. We had a 2 AK entry. Bolts had a double entry round, and that was the name of the game for them on the comeback. For some reason, when it came down to the 3v3s, it was actually I had to give the edge to OpTic most of the time. They were playing them extremely well, patiently, but then also aggressive when they needed to be. Mixwell, you know, recognized when an opportunity was there and peeked out to grab a kill. Nafly in the 1v1 or off of A site went out to peek and got a kill. And it seemed like they're playing with just the right amount of confidence, and also know when to turn the respect on and off. And I think that was throwing Tempo Storm through a loop in the beginning, and then they changed up styles and did a great job adapting.
And actually, it was one of those last couple rounds that OpTic won was when daps aced.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, wow, everything is going OpTic Gaming's way. daps has just got an ace, and then suddenly it all unravels. It's come undone, to get the Weezer references in there. Stan moving through with the ump, back on round 5, nicely done. And what do we have here? Bolts getting some frags, taking long control. Tempo Storm did actually start going for long control pretty often. Rush stopping this eco here from Tempo Storm, so surviving there. Nice shot by Henny. He gets one more in CT on the follow-up. And this is where it all turns around in round 10. After they win that, they don't stop winning.
Now, we're into the second half. Very even scoreline on a map that's quite even itself. Friendly to both sides, as it were. And I think OpTic here, who have a smoke and a flash on daps, might decide to do something simple. Looks like it's just for the long cross.
Oh, Rush trying to hit those hops.
Oh my
gosh. Look at this, Tempo Storm. What side are they on?
Oh, they're
like, we want to play T-side again. Bolt's going through, fighting the entries at long, if we can call it that. Stan now in the pit on both sides. Actually, Rush has taken down Phelps. Stan's going to be able to grab 1. Oh, Stan grabs 2. Very important, but Showtime answering back with 2 more. That'll be 3 overall for him. Mixwell with the chance, 1-on-2. Had a 1-on-1 at long, but he will lose it. Showtime, I believe, getting a quad kill.
Yeah, hella psyched about that, and for good reason. That was a round that almost came close to OpTic Gaming pulling it back, even though the 2 original kills came out where Tempo Storm were able to big flank long after pushing up middle. Not something they expected. This is exactly the operation that you want to run when a team is going to go straight out long, and so it seemed like it was kind of a hard read. But also the value of going up middle is if they all grouped up in tunnels and then you're at top mid, there's no way they expect you to be there unless they were spotting, and so they can, from top mid, have a really good advantage and lock players down in tunnels.
So Showtime with the big investment onto the rifle. Everybody else with the SMGs. Scout on Henny. He's going to want to warm up those scoped weapons. Showtime being challenged in middle. Only 9 bullets left, but finding a second kill. 2 more players to deal with. He pulls out a secondary, but it's Stanislaw with the Tech 9 that will best him. Lucas! Nav, how is that even possible? Looked like he was still standing in the smoke. What a shot to even it up 3-on-3. The bomb is going down. OpTic Gaming looking to upset here on round 2 in the second half. Bolts already through the tunnels. He's going to bring down Naf, but it's daps who finds Phelps. Henny with the scout. Not sure where that came from, but Bolts.
Good recovery. Lucas, though, that was such a critical frag. Like that's a frag that makes the difference between being able to get the bomb down and not. Like, let's say OpTic Gaming should have lost that. Okay, they came close to winning it, but they didn't. Well, they also got the plant off of Nafly, just getting that crazy one tap out of the smoke. Lucas was pretty much perfectly in position to deal with, right? Like, he expected a split to come out and someone to come through tunnels, and still like lost the reaction time battle or something. I don't even know how that happens.
For now, Tempo Storm going to earn themselves a bit of a freebie here on round 18. We've just got the P250s and the 1 Deagle on Rush. And OpTic Gaming are going to take it with an Xbox smoke up Catwalk pretty quickly, perhaps. Mixwell leading the charge there. And no, they're going to jump down. Oh no, have not run out middle, so still set on the Catwalk. You see daps lining up the pop flash, and they're going to fly through. No one playing close. Wise from Tempo Storm to put distance between them and the pistols. Bolts on the site, having to deal with a lot right now. He's one and done. Mixwell with the headshot. Now Henny, well, he's actually got help here, but maybe they should just be falling back. Still trying to deny the bomb plan, it seems. And here it comes. Rush putting that down. Look how low Henny and Phelps are. Both in red HP. Naf takes down Phelps. Showtime working himself around the double spray. It's not going to happen. Naf will answer back in time, and Lucas, he gets a kill onto Nafly, and it's up to Stanislaw. 1 player is low, so nicely done for Stan. Far range with the P250. Can he get it done? Does about half damage, but it's Lucas to win.
Oh, I see
get
where
that defuse.
I see where the bomb was planted. I was wondering why Stan was so far out, and he just assumed that it could have been someone on the bomb behind the smoke. Or, yeah, behind the box, and wow, that was, wow, so close. Mixwell getting that kill again. These are such critical turning point frags that are allowing the bombs to go down. And you know, that guy on default could have easily tethered off his teammate at long and just had a shooting gallery on players crossing cat. There wasn't a great amount of utility that OpTic Gaming could have dumped into that take, and so it was them hoping they would be able to catch Tempo off guard. Didn't even have that advantage and still managed to plant.
And the nade kicking up the dust here on Dust 2 will allow safe passage for Tempo Storm into the B site. Stanislaw dealing with fire and nades over at long, and a smoke to go and extinguishing that one. And oh, Stan, he gets dinked to 1 HP.
Can I get a 1 in chat?
From what? I guess taking a couple shots to the head through the door, it seemed like.
This could or could be a situation where 1 is the same as 100, but mentally, Stan knows that he's got to play a little bit more passively. He wants to just live as long as possible. Get rid of his nades before he dies, and he'll right them into the will. And there's Henny to take a shot. Doesn't hit anything, and also doesn't spot anyone, so isn't completely sure that there were actually 3 players there ready to try to win a duel versus him. Good flash.
Phelps is very, very blind, but he's not panicking. He's made no noise. Maybe it will keep him timid, and he won't want to push through, but Phelps certainly in prime position to do that. Lucas going to re-smoke. That'll keep daps far back in the tunnels. Naf making his rotation off the catwalk. They're grouping up. Oh, that smoke has been completely botched. This could be the round decider. Bolt's coming away with 1 frag. Now the smoke goes down. A second one to cover things completely, and a fire to make sure no one can push through. Showtime at the doors is going to fall to Mixwell. Now Lucas playing back in the site, ready for that tunnels push. Turns to use of bullets there. Somehow getting the kill. What the headshot onto daps. Lucas with a ridiculous 3K.
I think it was Lucas to kill like a third player from TSM jumping out a long B plat in the exact same fashion with his last bullet, hitting a headshot, and unreal. I gotta say, Stanislaw, I feel like missed an opportunity here as we see Lucas turn away, gets a couple shots off, and then he comes back to deal with him. Oh, he got that last kill, right?
He got the kill in the door, window, and then, yeah, the last
Oh my
bullet
god,
headshot.
in tunnel. Jesus.
He used 3 bullets to kill the player in window and 1 for daps. And now Lucas once again being challenged here in B, this time with an M4A4, so more bullets to work with. He's come away with 2 kills. Showtime gets nothing, but Lucas still getting it done. He finds a third. Bomb may be going down. Let's see, daps has it with the op. He's waiting for someone to aggress through the window. Phelps gets Mixwell, daps connects, but the nade goes in, and it's bolts to get that frag.
I actually love how he just ran through the door there because they didn't hear the bomb go down, and as soon as they knew that the bomb wasn't planted, then they realized that everyone's going to be setting up trying to dump their nades. It's going to be a respect battle where you're going to have some time to just block off the choke points, fake, maybe perform a fake plant, and yeah, he just decided to rush in. I think it caught them completely off guard.
Double op and a scout. Interesting to see the scout make an appearance on Lucas, as OpTic Gaming have actually bought up a full round here, even Mixwell with an op of his own. Phelps once again getting fairly aggressive over there at long, supported by bolts. And that will leave Henny, aggressive angle on the catwalk by himself as the A defender.
Stringent default from OpTic with a slight congregation towards tunnels. Bomb starting to make his way over as well. Fourth man Stanislaw anchoring long.
This is kind of weird to have Lucas, the man on the platform, with a scout to stop a potential B rush. I wonder what the thought process is there.
Moving back for the classic cat control.
He was very poor, apparently. And their Showtime, first kill, that's into the B tunnels. He finds Mixwell. Mixwell looking to get the opening pick with his op. Instead, he gets picked. And the time is starting to get pretty low. OpTic Gaming on the catwalk. This is almost going to be where they have to go.
They've got to make good use of the smokes. I mean, they could set up for a full-on take right now, and they have to basically four-man it. The issue is they don't have any pressure on long, so Henny doesn't have to worry about that.
Well, Henny had to put the op away, but the flashes slowing them down a bit. They've dropped off into CT spawn, maybe trying to split B from that way. Bolts goes through, only finds the one, and Rush with a double stand brings Showtime out of the B site, and now it is Henny left in a 1 versus 3, bomb having been planted in B, and that is an interesting variation on the theme of mid to B splits, jumping everyone off the catwalk.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, they did it off of a... So there's a CT smoke that you can throw from mid B, which is very common. Like early on, people would just go to Xbox or the mid B smoke, and everyone would just run up cat. And you'd pull someone to jump off of CT if it was, you know, a really inexperienced team, or just have that mid B guy stay there instead of coming to game helper. And you use that 1 or 2 seconds between the rotation to try to take advantage of it. And then, oh, there's a save. It doesn't come out, but people were trying to, after that, use the smoke that you use from cat to block off the CT guy that they throw off the wall. And now... and then there was also people using spawn drops on CT on cat takes, but here we have the spawn drop with the cat CT smoke and then a mid B, and we see how the meta evolves.
Well, the 12-round run for Tempo Storm comes to an end as OpTic Gaming finally get up to 8, and the money is broken. OpTic Gaming seeming to realize this. Daps and Naf once again on those submachine guns, looking to farm up some money, and overall, we have seen OpTic making pretty sound economic decisions. Bolts off the catwalk, aggressive, looking for information, finding nothing, and daps moving up. He's been so good on catwalk. Does a lot of damage there onto Henny. Now will not take him down, starts to fall, and Henny, I think with the dink and then the body shot, has brought down daps. First kill of the round. Naf waiting patiently in middle. He will bring down Showtime. But challenge from behind, it's Phelps to get the kill, and OpTic Gaming maybe starting to sweat in this round as they've gone a man down, but bomb planted on A. Okay,
they've got 3 smokes now. They don't have cat control. Long isn't very great to defend with SMGs. Or, well, they have actually AKs. No, they're good. Long plat. And Phelps does some damage, but doesn't come away with the frag.
Now all 3 players on cat. It's going to be up to Stan for the time being. He finds 2 nice ones. Bolts 1 more, keeping it somewhat expensive, but Mixwell securing the round with that op frag.
I wonder if OpTic still have stock in this game or starting to stage what looks like, well, I wouldn't say a comeback. It was Tempo to get the quick 5-0, which only says so much about the rounds they did get on CT side. Those have to be taken with a grain of salt, knowing that they consist of 1 or maybe 2 rifle rounds, depending on how the buy patterns were.
Yeah, the rifle round here pretty much determines if the comeback is real or not for OpTic Gaming.
And a great opportunity to do it. Tempo, Storm have a couple of Falmuses, have lost a bit of health, have less utility overall. In OpTic, we saw make great use of theirs in that 4-on-4.
Lucas putting down a smoke, starting to spam through nade as well, try to earn some free damage. I think he did 1 point of damage over to Mixwell. And 3 players now for OpTic Gaming in the tunnels. Actually, daps in lower as well. And the bomb, I think it is ready to go B. It's Rush with the bomb making the entry. It's gone down, so the rotations can come over immediately. It's going to be up to Stan to maybe stop them. He's dropping off the catwalk now. Nicely done. He'll find Henny in the back, and that's going to make Showtime and Bolt's life a lot more difficult. Oh, but that smoke was not great. Doesn't matter. Stan winning the battle as he tries to jump up on that box. Looks like he may have finally done it. It's very blind. Now, this is an awkward battle out of middle. Showtime's going to go in with the FAMAS and take him down into a 2-on-2 at the moment. It's up to Showtime and Phelps. Both of them out here in CT mid. daps waiting on the tunnels. And it's Mixwell peeking out the door. Going to find that first shot onto Phelps. And now
Crisp
Showtime.
headshot to shy Showtime away. 2v1. Retake on the B side, not feeling up to it in the way that NAF was in the first half. For good reason. Would have been very difficult to get in. And had the incentive to try to save this op. OpTic now pull out the 10 rounds, and that was a very nice T-sided round. They just went 4 into B. They had Rush walk in, and yeah, him having the Bob was a bit of an oversight. The thing is, like, you don't cancel the Rush when you're committed that hard. You're all the way at the end of tunnel, but if it's way in the back, at least they don't see it so early, so it doesn't let the CTs know, who only originally saw one person, that it's going to be a committal towards B. When you see the bomb, that's a rotate that's called for itself on the radar. Any other time, it's up for debate.
Actually, I could argue maybe it was even planned. Because Stan was ready to drop off a cat, so they're hoping for quick rotates, and then Stan can drop off. Maybe some next-level mind games there from OpTic. As they are playing well here in the second half, so maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt as Phelps pushed off of long, and it is just Showtime who's preserved the op here into round 24, looking to get aggressive with it off at the catwalk. And Mixwell and him will spot each other, but both shots miss.
Now with long control taking, you have many options. Actually, it's because Tempo Storm are saving that maybe OpTic Gaming want to play this round a little bit more carefully. They don't know what Showtime is saved, but potentially even a rifle is worth avoiding.
Mixwell will grab Lucas as he tried to sneak himself through the double doors and maybe scope out or post up in lower B. Lucas unable to do so. Now Showtime, he's actually the one to be challenged here, so things kind of working out for Tempo Storm in a sense.
Did Showtime take a shot? I wonder if they're running right into this for good reason or not.
Oh, look at Phelps. That is quite an angle, working himself around, creating a one-way with the smoke. And that one-way will lead to 1 kill. Stan is there, and Bolts, he's gone unchecked. Nafly, this could be a critical air. Bolts brings him down, and now he's picked up an AK. AK and Op, 3-on-3. Showtime missing some shots. Actually comes up empty-handed there on the A site. Now it's going to fall onto Bolts. Henny trying to be annoying with the USP, but Mixwell dealing with that, and Bolts running away.
Wow, and they come away with that round by the skin of their teeth. Bolts getting that frag on Cat, and Phelps being in a position to get a frag for himself as well. Bolts continuing to stay alive after that kill and then have Cat control all to himself because Nafly didn't take his time. He probably felt a little bit pressured once his teammates start dying. Sometimes your lurk is determined by how quickly your teammates or how long your teammates are able to live. So if you want to make it, want to go in for the long haul, maybe you're supposed to be the guy that stays up at green box the whole round while the Cat plant comes out and your teams go up, then you don't ever need to make your way up Cat, right? You're just a hard lurk. Catch rotates. You literally sit there the whole round. Well, if your teammates start getting picked off, then you can't clutch from there. And so you kind of have to give up on your plan C and just rely on you as being the last person alive to get up close and personal. But Nafly did speed it up, got caught off guard, and gave Tempo a chance.
4 massive rounds in a row there for OpTic Gaming. Get them within 2, but now we have Tempo Storm. Double ops coming out and another full rifle for them. Mixwell at middle. He's actually been omping from this dark spot position very, very often, just waiting for anyone to push off Cat. This battle happening at middle. Naf doing so much damage. Bolts brought down to 12 HP. Great way to start the round for OpTic.
Rarely have you ever seen that off of one clip through those doors. 88 damage.
If those doors were still wooden, Bolts would no longer be with us right now.
Now Stan actually just spotting for the cross, but I can't see someone walking through a smoke.
They gave Bolts the op.
Good flash? No, it's not. Will he get the kill, though? No, he won't. And that's Phelps to win a duel at long. Very important. Answers back for the damage done to his teammate. Gives him a lot of peace of mind. Clear that the default was out, and Stanislaw was the one who was killed.
daps takes a quick peek into middle off of a flash, but spotting nothing. He's going to prime that Molotov over for the ace site. You can see, is this Bolts on the quad box?
He's over at car.
Oh no, he's at car. Who do we have? It's Henny. Oh, Henny's hiding back in Goose. Okay. And it's Henny with an AK. Bolts and Showtime actually both with the ops. And Bolts not finding that first kill, so he's going to go down. Now Henny and Goose also with no response. Rush finds 2, opening up that site. Molotov over to Phelps' position. He's going to drop. And this is looking like domination now on the T side for OpTic Gaming.
You know, all these rounds in a row are all these groups of rounds that are being won by each team are happening, you know, 4 or 5 rounds in a row at a time. And it seems like for some reason it's one team adapting to the next one in these big patches where you see a lot of good coming out from the team that's adapting. And not only that, but the dominance in each of those rounds. It's quite surprising because OpTic Gaming have gotten away with not only winning like off their cat take, their 4v4s have been really on point. That one was actually a 4v5 where they didn't lose a single player. And they've done it at B, they've done it at A. They had a really interesting mid-B split, and Stanislaw looking bored out of his mind.
Yeah, right. Arguably one of the bigger matches in his career, right? Just to get into the major qualifications to maybe get to the... Well, they've already done that. I guess this is more for the money for first place. But still.
He just has to put his hand on his chin to hold up his big-ass brain. All that knowledge.
That could be it. That's Tempo Storm. One more rifle round here. They've actually managed to afford one. But, of course, they still have a tactical pause. We saw them take one in that second half of Cobble against TSM. See if they will use one soon here, depending on how round 26 goes. Henny this time will have the opposite of either Bolts or Showtime. Phelps on a FAMAS and also on pretty low HP. He's taking a lot of damage early on.
Again, default versus default. It's gone the way of OpTic for the last few rounds. Tempo yet to find an answer. The early rounds are nice, you know. They give you a little bit of confidence moving into the second part of the half. But they don't put the win in the bag. And Tempo Storm last round had the perfect setup. They had 5v4 versus a cat take with 3 players at A and 1 player at Goose and an op at car. That's all the ingredients you need to shut it down, and they didn't manage to get a single frag.
I wonder what's going to happen here at A. We have Phelps up in Goose. Henny's still positioned over at long, so he can, of course, drop back over to car and op people off of the catwalk. Bolts is now making his rotation back over to the ramp, and he's going to get the players as they drop down. Finds 1, finds 2, and that's things going very well now for Tempo Storm. Henny comes over with the op. Lucas elsewhere on the map. That's at B. He shuts down the lurk, and it's Mixwell all alone on 3 HP. He grabs 1 kill on the Phelps. Almost taking another out of the air, but Bolts hitting the jumping AK shots. Why not? Tempo Storm find themselves another round.
But it's far from over. Because we have OpTic now, who have lost that round on an island. If they are able to come back, it's going to be Tempo who need to double save.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Actually, I have to take that back completely. I mean, it seems like they've spent a lot of money on rebuys because they did such a great job using utility last round, but they only actually lost 1 person. So that might be a saving grace for them within that round, besides actually winning it, keeping all their players alive.
Fly in lower B, looking to start off the round, grabbing some mid control. As OpTic Gaming playing this one out pretty slow. Once again, running for that default. As you mentioned in the previous round, default versus default coming out again here in round 27. Phelps has got maybe a bit more aggressive over at long. And Henny also with an aggressive angle on the catwalk. I'm actually concerned. The flash that I saw them throw last time on the catwalk, I think will pop off to the left of Henny and not actually blind him. So let's see how they throw it this time, if they even do. Okay, I take it back. Henny, very, very blind. He'll throw one of his own in retaliation.
We can see they're actually going to be setting up for this mid-B again. The tunnel, the bomb is going towards upper tunnels. This could be a bit of a liability without teammate. No,
where's Phelps? Phelps, he pushed through long and he gets the kill onto Naf, and that's really going to disrupt things right now for OpTic Gaming. He didn't spot out a bomb, but now OpTic just have to constantly think about where Phelps is and what he might be doing.
A huge hitch in their plans. And they went back to clear it, assumed that he has fallen off. But will they clear this close door? Mixwell, no, doesn't see the gun on Bolt. And Bolt has a great time now to try to get these killed, though. Rush trades out 1 for 1, and this is really awkward.
Yeah, so Phelps making the big play on this round, having pushed through long twice now and got a kill each time. Showtime and B just playing right on the default plant spot. I think surprises Stanislaw a bit, and here's Rush. He's found 2 kills, his second one onto Phelps. That'll leave him in a 1 versus 3. Lucas has just moved past that bomb into the tunnels. Showtime following him up. And Rush taking some damage. Oh, he does not want to die after time here. That will hurt OpTic Gaming's efforts moving forward. Here they come. Oh, all right, saved by the bell.
Wow, yeah, Tempo do seal it up after a really importantly timed push from Phelps. He's not only able to win his op duels at long, or his rifle duels at long, but also with good presence of mind, make an important play to make it 5v4, put a hitch in the plans of OpTic, who were setting up for a mid-B take that was super successful for them when it was 4v4.
Rush kind of messed up a flash there, but all right, grenade and a headshot striking back from OpTic Gaming. We'll keep them in this. Tempo Storm, of course, on match point right now. Henny looking to make some plays, pushed out in front of that smoke, missing a hard op shot. And retreating back into the shadows, but it's daps on the other side. Showtime gets quick revenge and has picked up an AK for his troubles, but as he pushes the smoke, Rush will take him down, and it's Lucas now on catwalk 1 versus 3. Gets a quick kill onto Stan 1 on 2, and he's like, all right, I think I'm going to go for it now. But fire coming in. Flash goes out. Lucas is going to push straight on through this. Player at long as Rush still smoked off a little bit. Lucas wins that quick battle, and Mixwell will seal the round, but wow, did that come pretty close.
Yeah, a little tight there as Lucas was offered the opportunity to win a 3v1, but the peek came out from Mixwell just in time to support Rush, and OpTic are just 2 away from bringing it to OT. What an exciting first map so far. It's hard for me to tell whether or not Tempo Storm have what it takes to close this out at this moment in this half. You know, we've seen them win rounds. It's just that OpTic have also had their fair share of dominant rounds.
And you can see with what Tempo Storm bought, their money's about to break, so if OpTic win here, it's likely going to OT. And then, of course, if OpTic lose, that's just the map for Tempo Storm. But both teams' money in the dumps right now. Bolt is looking to get a little bit aggressive off the catwalk, and that Molotov showing why we don't see that all that often anymore.
Yeah, I mean, with that smoke down, it doesn't matter. You can throw a grenade square in the middle and expect to hit 1 or 2 people just off of a very offhand throw. Oh, there's presence at mid-B, isn't there? No, there isn't.
Yeah, Showtime got taken out. Nice little triple peek, but Lucas goes into the window, finds one. Now pressure from the tunnels, but he's still alive. Can't quite come away with the second kill. Henny has, however, found somebody, so that's going to be a 3-on-3. HP advantage, and look at Phelps, positional advantage. So quick on the flank. Bolts through the window. He'll be brought down by daps, but daps is just pushed into the corner here. And on both sides, he's got players. Phelps moving up and securing map number 1. Tempo Storm win it 16-13.
Wow, big performance from Tempo Storm, and they do seal it up after losing that round, or losing the first kill in that round, allowing the mid-B split to happen, the site to be taken. Henny supported with an op shot through the smoke to catch players coming through the door, and then instead of waiting for the bomb to go down and just going for the retake, since they had someone on the fast tunnels flank, decided to let him push through immediately and then have someone come through the door as well. One of them went down, but having someone get shot in the back and then tunnels presence being right around the corner made it really, really too hectic for OpTic to have to deal with. I wonder how upset they are about the fact that they lost us too.
Well, it was the pick of Tempo Storm.
Yeah.
And OpTic Gaming, I mean, they did get off to a very quick start. They kind of lost that momentum in the first half and continued to lose a string of rounds. It was 12 in a row between the halves there for Tempo Storm. So it was starting to get worrying, but then we see OpTic Gaming bounce back with 5 in a row of their own, and it gets a little back and forth there at the end, but Tempo Storm with the lead, able to close it out. I don't know if OpTic Gaming should really feel that badly about their performance here on map number 1.
No, maybe the fact that they were just so close to winning this map The fact that they have to play 2 more maps kind of blows, going into your map pick is nice, but thinking about how you could have closed it out has got to be the most haunting thought. Ultimately, really nice though, really nicely done from OpTic and Tempo Storm, but just a little bit better. And a shout out to Phelps. I think he was the MVP of that map.
Yeah, Phelps and Bolts each with 26 kills, and it's kind of funny that the other 3 all had 18. So it's really like, hey, your 2 stars both have 26, the rest of the team at 18. If you can have that work consistently for you, that's a good look for Tempo Storm. Meanwhile, we had Mixwell, daps, and Rush with great performances, and we'll have more on that from the desk, guys.
Thank you very much. Another good game out of daps when you look at the numbers, but Bolts has been the man. This is now 3 games in a row where Bolts, the in-game leader of Tempo Storm, has been the top fragger in the lobby.
Yeah, he's really putting up a show right now because he's actually carrying these guys right now to victory. We didn't actually get a chance to mention how well he played in the previous best of 3 against TSM because we were just talking about Henny's last 4 rounds where he just carried himself, but prior to that it was all Bolts. So
Bolts had 33 kills, Henny had 30.
So like, it really comes down to what we were talking about before, where we needed Bolts to step up as the in-game leader and really take control of the situation, and he really has stepped up today compared to the other 2 days he's been playing.
This was a map that later in the second half looked a little bit scary, but Tempo, they got their pick, they get the win. James, what did you see at the start? Let's talk about the first half here. What did you see from Tempo?
Let's bring up the first clip for OpTic. I think that the battle usually just happens with long A. You'll see, you can cue the clip. You'll see Tempo Storm take long A quickly. Phelps runs through the smoke, pop flashes through it, and catches both long A people off guard. The important thing to understand here is the meta constantly changes with how you take long A.
Okay.
It is constantly evolving. You saw Nip throw a pop flash, multiple pop flashes, and they get a guy in the pit. There's so many variances to how you can take long A. It's getting more and more challenging to be able to defend against it. And the answer that I believe is not always focusing on the meta. I mean, it's great if you know the exact nuance of how they're going to attack you, what Phelps did, what Nip likes to do, but really it's about answering with map control once you realize you can't defend it. So all they needed to do was relax and say, okay, maybe they got something new at long A. Let's let them take long A. We'll play on catwalk. But the answer, the moment, or fall back, the moment that they take long A, we need to take B tunnels. We need to answer with taking the map control where they're not. We need to take some, and we can play a different type of defense and give them the portion that they've worked so hard to come up with a cool strategy to beat us with. So that was really the first part of the map that really broke out for me.
Garrett, you've been talking about economy throughout this entire weekend. How do you feel the 2 teams managed their economy in this game?
I thought they did a pretty good job with it. It really came down to a bunch of these clutch rounds that I was about to say TSM, that Tempo Storm really came down to. But you know what? The score was what I believe was 16-12. There was a lot of gun rounds. It was a lot of pistol upgraded armor buys. It came down to, Tempo Storm was able to get 7 rounds. Sorry, not Tempo Storm. Oh, I'm doing this all over again.
It's okay.
OpTic Gaming was able to get 7 rounds to start it off. But you know what? We talked about before the game even started that I didn't want them to rely on individual players coming up big to get the rounds, because that's not going to be the way to beat Tempo Storm. It's not going to be the way to sustain the win. And that's exactly what happened on this map. We saw Nafly having big rounds. We saw daps having big rounds. But if you take those 3 clutch rounds that they had out, Tempo Storm dominated them on this map. And the only reason OpTic Gaming was able to make it close was because their T side was, like James said, their map control. They did a very good job. And it really came down to Phelps on his CT side, his aggression, his fast flank on B, his constant flanks on long A, because no one was pressuring it during the mid-round default that they were doing, allowed Phelps to open it up for Tempo Storm and able to put it in the bag for him. But you know what? It was a really great match. It's one of the best ones we've seen so far. And I'm interested to see in OpTic Gaming if they're going to really pull together the same kind of performance on train that they did yesterday.
We were talking about late in the game that, holy crap, this might go into overtime if OpTic's able to land these last 2 kills. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done, and Tempo Storm was able to run away with the game. But I know you had production. Get a second clip for you from the second half. What did you see? Round 23. This is OpTic Gaming's entry.
Okay, so before we cue the clip, okay, here we go. You're going to see that what happened is OpTic had a two-pronged attack. They had 3 people coming to B, but before that, if you look at the top left of the screen, you're going to see Stanislaw. You can see he ends up flanking Catwalk. So what they did was they took map control on Catwalk, which is the standard. You own Catwalk at bricks, and then what happens is if you end up going back to B and then you set a flank, they had the ability to carve out map control where the CTs had to spread out and defend against anything, and then they split it and they took the round. It was a big round.
Yeah.
Big round there.
Like what you just said, it was OpTic on their T side did a very good job of having different strategies and different layers of their T side attack. It really just came down to the Phelps. Really, honestly, I believe it truly was him coming in and just making these plays because they were up, but OpTic was coming back really hard, and honestly, without Phelps flanking long A and making those plays and leaving him alone, allowing the other 4 guys on their CT side to focus on the other entryways into the sites, it would have been probably gone into overtime. But Phelps again flanked B on that very last round. He was the one that saved them.
He felt the game. I was talking about the pressure of that round that they put on Catwalk, that they went in B. The moment that he could sense that they were grouping up and he didn't have pressure on him, he was feeling the game. You saw every time they clipped to him, he was just not, he wasn't cheering, he was in the zone. And he was going to feel the game the moment he could sense that the game wasn't coming his way. He consumed map control and flanked them and made huge kills.
We know now Tempo Storm is just 1 game away. Before we get to game number 2, we got to take a look back at some of the best moments here from game 1. Of course, this was Tempo's pick. Up next, we're going to see OpTic's. And here are some of the early rounds. Nafly with the AK daps was getting it done as OpTic jumped out to a great start. But then Tempo started bringing it back a little bit later. Guys, in this game 1, who was playing the best for OpTic Gaming in each of your eyes?
For me, it felt like daps really stepped it up. Again, on the CT side, he's the man that's calling the strats. So he did a really good job with that. I want to see, especially on the train, which is an op-heavy map, I need to see Mixwell pick it up because I honestly felt he was invisible during this matchup. And again, Phelps really took over. So I want to see OpTic become more of a team-oriented team on train like they did last time. Use their timings that they were phenomenal on with train and basically close out and make sure we get a final map on Nuke.
Stanislaw, real quick. Sorry, we just saw a pistol round. Stanislaw was the key last night, winning all the pistol rounds. Showtime had some great pistol rounds here in game number 1 in the rematch. Now we're going into game number 2. What should we be looking forward to? He talked about Mixwell and the op needs to step it up. What are you looking forward to most?
What I picked out the last time OpTic played, I touched on it earlier, was Mixwell making picks. They got this new guy on their team. He's not been on their team very long. He's leading himself. He's like, I'm going to go do this, this, and this, and I'm going to take these picks and these map control awareness picks. And what happens is if he completely does this completely on his own, the rest of the team is going to be 1v5 and then 4v5. He needs to make sure he's doing it with the team. So I think that he puts great pressure. I think he does a great job. That to me, this train matchup is really about what he's able to do because I think the Brazilians are going to punish. They have great teamwork. They're the people that if you do singular attacks individually, they're going to punish you with teamwork.
All right, we're going to see how it all plays out, guys. Keep in mind, $45,000 up for grabs in this match, $30,000 to first place. Guys, are we going to see this series end right here on Train?
No, I honestly believe that OpTic Gaming is going to still take this one. It really is going to come down to, because they've already played on this map yesterday, who's going to be able to adapt the best. And right now, daps is a strong in-game leader. I feel he's going to be able to adapt easier than Tempo Storm will.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with that, but I'm going to predict it to be a lot closer than it was yesterday. So I'm going to go with 16-13 for OpTic Gaming.
16-13. I believe it was very similar to that. James, before the commercial, what do you got for me?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Tempo Storm. I saw daps seemingly be the only person that really was feeling the game and understanding. Not only was he calling signals, he was fragging hard. So if the rest of the team in OpTic doesn't wake up, I could see Tempo taking this.
All right, he's calling the 2-0. He's hoping for Nuke. We'll see how it all plays out, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.